The overall stock market continues to come under pressure. The Dow closed down almost 1,000 points, closing close to its lows. It was an ugly, ugly day on Wall Street. However, we are entering into a little bit of support. I will show you that on the flip side. While everybody is losing their heads, little old me picked up 88% on his VIX position. And gold and silver, per the usual, took it on the chin. We are, I think, getting closer to a turn in the silver market. And I picked up a long today. So with that, let's go. Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Alrighty, we're gonna start with the SPY today. The SPY tracks the S&P 500, and you can see right here that is an ugly looking stick, but we did slam right perfectly into a trend line here. I have been watching for this for a while. We also filled the gap. I have been saying for a while now, I think that the SPY could easily get down to the round number of 300. I think that that would probably come in the next week or two if this continues like this. Note too, the volume. The volume was massive. I've been waiting for this for a while. We went north of 100 million. We did 125 million. So what happened? Big move to the downside. I've been sitting here coming out doing these videos going, I don't know what is going on with the volume this low. It makes absolutely no sense with all the black swans flying around everywhere. And then we got it today. So for whatever reason, everybody decided that today was a good time to sell. Maybe it has something to do with the video I put out yesterday comparing the 1929 crash to today, and maybe some of those cycle dates in 1929 are reverberating today. Now, please note with those cycle dates too, those of you that watch the video, I'll link it on the screen right now. Now, those cycle dates, you need to write those down in a journal as I do and watch for them in the future. Those dates are important. They repeat very consistently. I have an entire giant journal with all kinds of cycle dates through really dating back, some of them hundreds of years, and I see them play out routinely. Does it work every time? No, nothing does in the stock market. But again, this is a speculator's business. Nothing works 100% of the time. If you ever find something that works 100% of the time, I highly recommend you tell nobody about it and keep it to yourself. So where's the SPY going? So we slammed right into this trend line today. My trend line here, what was the absolute low today? We hit 326.13. Where's the trend line coming from? This is coming back from the breakdown right here, which I've been talking about for a while, and I told you guys this pivot would be important in the future. So the top of this candle was at 325.85. So yes, we missed it by a couple pennies today, but we'll see what happens. We might get a bounce or, kind of like a pause day or something like that tomorrow. Ultimately, I do still think, and I've been saying this for a while, and this is, I think, where the trolls come out of the woodworks and tell me I don't know what I'm doing, that, that's never going to happen. But guess what? I think now with the move today, the huge volume, we may have seen something snap. And what have I been saying? I think we're going to get somewhere in this range. We'll get past the election. It doesn't matter who wins. And I have a feeling, especially with all the lockdowns and everything that's going on, we're going to see probably this is my major bet here. I have a bet going on with a friend about this. I think by 2021 or 2022, we will have printed another $5 to $7 trillion. And that is why I am a holder of silver. Now let's get over to my VIX position today. The VIX, what a monster. I was shocked that we actually broke down through this triple bottom here. And, I was saying if that breaks down there, I have no idea what the VIX is going to do. When it gapped down here and just kind of started to go sideways, I've been putting out videos. I was telling you guys, you can see a low, slightly higher low, a third higher low, and then off to the races we go. Note the volume coming up here. We gapped above the 50 moving average, which is super bullish. It blew through that first trend line, and we're kind of entering into this second trend line here. I sold a little bit more of my position. I still have about a third left of my original position that I bought down here at 22, excuse me. And I have a feeling if the overall SPY comes into that 300 range, the VIX is going to come up into the mid 30s, which I was saying before, and it is possible that we got some kind of crazy super spike, which often happens when the general populace starts to panic. And again, if you watch that 1929 documentary comparing it to today, back in 1929, all of the average Joes were borrowing money to buy stocks, and that's exactly what we have going on today. When their positions start to get wrecked, as my brother and I have been bringing you information, showing you that our brokers are increasing special margin requirements in all of these stocks is because they know it's kind of out of whack. And when they do that, it removes liquidity. You're going to get selling. So that's one of the reasons I was simply ignoring the trolls. I don't watch the news. I tried to just watch charts, and I picked up 88% on another basically third of my VIX position. I have a third left, roughly. Now, Peloton today was pretty interesting. You guys might be getting sick of me talking about this, but I did enter on the short side again on this. Amazing, really, to watch Peloton today act as a defensive stock, mainly because the shutdowns are coming in Europe, which means it may come here to the United States. So people are like, I know what I'm going to do. I am going to sell my gold and silver, and I'm going to go buy that massively overinflated exercise company because people will buy that in a lockdown. Now, to counter that, one of my friends, an old trading clients, she actually just out of the blue sent me a text yesterday and was like, hey, how you doing? We started talking back and forth, and she's like, you know what I bought? And I was like, what's that? She goes, I bought a Peloton. I was like, oh my gosh. And I told her I was shorting it or whatnot. She goes, yeah, it's probably overvalued. I said, do you like it? And she goes, well, it wasn't anywhere near as good as our training sessions. She goes, but yeah, I do like it. So just thought that was kind of interesting. Let's take a peek at silver today. What have I been saying on silver? Bear flags on silver play out probably more routinely in this metal than just about anything else in the overall stock market. Peloton here sitting in a very, very weak looking position. It's a huge down move, a gap down. It's just going sideways. It can't even really get any momentum to the upside. This is an ugly, ugly bear flag, which I do believe is going to play out to the downside. But silver, almost anytime you see some type of bearish pattern set up, it's going down. Now, I would say the positive to silver right now, potentially, I'm looking at a daily. We have a low right here, potential slightly higher low, and a potential third higher low here. I still think we're coming back to my mathematical target down here. These are proprietary to me, and I think we're going to see around $20. That would make a lot of sense to me, just purely because as this comes in, I think you're going to get anybody that bought up here, especially even like myself, other than the fact that I have learned patience over the last 15 years of trading. I could see myself as a newer trader, say, let's go back 10, 12 years. I would be freaking out here and not sure why silver's going down. If it kept going down to 20, I'd probably throw my hands up in the air, probably stop looking at any of my trading software as it would find a bottom and start to come back up. So I still think we're going to get down there. Let's go take a peek at my favorite miner, pause. And what have I been saying since the top? And talk about patience. I mean, I shorted this thing up here back in August, and I was saying, I'm going to wait for this thing to come back sub 30. We got very, very close today. The low today was 30.12. I was eyeing this all day. I think this pivot is kind of the last bastion here, right here, the low here being just under 30 at 29.63. If that gives way, we're going right back into my other mathematical target, which is the circle area. It would also be touching the 20 moving average, the 200 moving average, which is trading right now around 27.25. This may hang in here for a little bit, and if it breaks in the next week or two, this could potentially get itself up to $28 or $29. We would be sub 30. It's exactly what I was waiting for. If you guys took my seminar, and you don't know what I'm about to say right here, this other wave down here, you should be anticipating. It has nothing to do with my mathematical targets, has nothing to do with round numbers. It's simply what's going on up here. If you guys cannot see that and you took my seminar, email me. I'll make you a special video on what I am watching for, and I'm almost 100% sure this is going to play out. Now, what is going to happen when pause gets down here? I'm going to go crazy, I think. I never go all in, but I'm going to at least overweight this. I may pick up, I may go, this may be the largest position I take since starting the channel if we can get down there. And what a great learning experience it will be for all you new traders to watch me deal with trolls, sit here patiently and do nothing with silver this entire time. And for those of you that have been listening to me for a while, I think you guys know that I'm a huge, huge silver bull. So this is not easy for me. I've been doing this for 15 years. It's just something that I know happens. You have to wait because I have experienced more pain over the last, or over my trading career of buying stuff up here because I think that it should go higher and then it will move against me. And then I capitulate and then I've watched things move against me. It's happened so many times. And that's why I talk about trading being really it's self-mastery. It has nothing to do with other people. It's just you against yourself. And for me, my hardest thing is simply sitting around and doing nothing. So when we get down there, I am going to buy. Look at the volume on pause today. We did almost 2.7 million volume. Normal volume is about 1.7, so we're over by almost a million. Big down move and a breakdown here. I think this is like an avalanche. I don't think this pivot holds, and I think we get down there. I'm probably beating a dead horse here, so I'll be quiet. The long I picked up today, let's, one of you guys, again, too, I can't remember who or who doesn't want me to say their names on the channel, but someone sent me this, and how long have I been talking about the marijuana stocks? If you guys heard my original story about why I got interested in a marijuana business, it was back in 2007, 2008, and I understood then that the average state in the United States was bankrupt. Now, we've been told since 2007, 2008, when we started doing QE, everything is in a recovery. Now that we got Donald Trump in office, he's telling us it's the best economy ever, and all we are doing is printing money. Now, before I go farther with my weed story here, let's take a peek at this. This is from King World News. It's a balance sheet since 2003 to 2020. It says the exponential growth is accelerating, up 8.5 times since 2006. It's now 35% of U.S. GDP. You can see over here, it's up 90% since September 4, 2019. And what is September 4, 2019? This is when the repo market was starting to break. Who was covering that? My brother and I were. We knew something was horrendously wrong given what the Fed was doing. And then all of a sudden we get a virus and a shutdown and they print $3 trillion, which is this. I mean, what a crazy move this is. And to call this a recovery, well, you know, go back to my 1929 documentary. Anyway, so this says here, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo commented that the state could legalize adult use, generate revenues, and alleviate the state's COVID. It's got to be COVID-19, right? It has nothing to do with the repo stuff or things rolling over before the virus, but the state's COVID-19 induced multi-billion-dollar budget deficit. Come on, people. Like, at what point are people going to wake up and realize all of this stuff was out of whack way before the virus? And it says in an event promoting his upcoming book, Cuomo responded to the question of, when is New York going to legalize marijuana? And he said, soon, because now we need the money. So if I go back to my marijuana story, back in 2007, 2008, I was very interested in purchasing or getting into like a dispensary, basically. I had the thought process that almost every state, after watching what Colorado was doing and making money, would legalize it, not because they really want to, but because they need the money. So to see this, I was like, holy cow, that's been one of my better calls over the years. And it was just very easy to see. So here we are about to go into an election. We got weed stocks here just hovering around, like, you know, basically all-time lows here. And then I picked up TLRY today. So I've already been in and out of TLRY. I was doing that when I was in Florida, if you guys remember those videos. And I just picked them up based almost purely off of that article. But if I jump out to a daily, I'll show you what I was looking at here. So we've kind of come off of the lows. We had a gap up in big volume. Can you see that volume behind that candle there? That's a nice move. I think that was bigger money moving in. You can see it just started to walk itself back down. What is that? I show you guys this all the time. That is a bull flag. It's an inside bar pattern. It did not break the bottom of this bar. And from right here, what happened? I'm going to move this up so you can see the volume a little bit better too. Look at the volume bars here. They're all green. You compare that to like the overall stock market, like the SPY, where it's the opposite. I think that this stuff is getting ready to explode higher. Walks itself down. What does it do? It pops itself back up again, goes sideways a little bit, moves up. Now it is experiencing a little bit more selling, but this is the biggest sell bar right here, which sold right down to the 50. The volume on the selling went to sleep. And that volume that's selling right there is about half of this one. So all somebody is doing here, this is where big boys try to position themselves in a certain dollar range where they want to accumulate something, and that's kind of what they do. You know, they might buy a couple million shares and then they'll sell like a couple 100,000, and then it's to not allow the stock to get away from them, and it's how they accumulate, and they leave their footprints everywhere. So again, you go back to that 1929 documentary where I purposely introduced Jesse Livermore, and the reason I put him in there is because he didn't look at company fundamentals. I don't really need to know what TLRY is doing if a whole bunch of people with millions and billions of dollars look like they're accumulating it, and I can figure out that that's what they're doing. So I purchased some calls on TLRY. And lastly, I just want to touch on this. I always get down thumbs when I talk about politics, so maybe I shouldn't talk about it anymore. But this is off Donald Trump's Twitter feed. And for those of you that always down thumb me if I say anything negative about Trump, I'm going to play this video. The audio might be horrible, so if you're wearing a headset, get ready to take your headset off. But this is on his Twitter feed. Now, the one thing I have to give props to Donald Trump on is I believe he is an elite level marketer. Potentially one of the best in human history, at least probably in my lifetime. And I'm going to show you a clip here, and I'll show you why. Let's go here. Oh, and if the volume here, I'm doing this through my computer, so if you're wearing a headset, be prepared to take them off. I don't want to blow up your eardrums. The audio might be pretty bad here, but let's go. That's him on the top there, coming in a helicopter. Huge sea of people, and then on the bottom, you got Joe Biden. That's why he calls him Sleepy Joe. Walking into one of his, rallies where there's like 30 people there, and they all got circles. Who wants to live in this world? Now, granted, I don't think it matters who wins or loses. I think they're going to continue to push mask stuff on us, and more to do with the fact that I think the virus is somewhat financialized. Going back to this stuff. So I'm not sure that it really matters all that much. But I believe, and I've been getting questions through emails and texts, who do you think is going to win the election? I believe Donald Trump will win by a landslide. Why? Because this right here, that video I just showed you, is exactly what was going on in 2016. Everybody in the mainstream media was telling you that Hillary was double digits ahead and she was going to smoke them. And he was like, I don't think so. Like, look at my rallies. They're massive. And I read something else the other day in Florida, where my brother lives, and I just went and visited him. There's Trump stuff everywhere. Florida and Miami just had some like impromptu 30,000 car Donald Trump rally. I don't think you could continue. If you took all of Joe Biden's and all of Hillary Clinton's rallies combined, I think you'd probably struggle to get 30,000 people. So I am going to leave it there. Have a great day, everybody. See ya.